The only reason you are stuck is because your thought and your feelings are working against you. All of our thoughts are based on our beliefs, and our beliefs is nothing but a result of all the past experiences that we have had till now. And when you feel stuck in this entire thought and feeling loop, you can't ever become the person that you really want to be. Just imagine every decision you're making, anything you're like, any perspective, everything is nothing but just a result of all the past experiences that you have had, all the conditioning you have went through. Now, how do you expect you will become this elevated version just by abiding the things that has happened with you in the past or the experience you have heard from people who are not where you want to be? It's not going to work, right? Welcome to my channel. I'm Canvas of Aparna. I am a freedom and business coach, and I honestly feel that our mindset is the biggest thing in our life. So today's video is going to be all about what are limiting beliefs, how it is affecting you, and how you can start rewiring your brain for success. So let's get started. So now is the time for me to introduce my two favorite characters for today. So one is Leila and one is Isha. So you can see both of them on the screen, and as you can see, Laila is someone who is very much into doubting herself. She had completed all her degrees, and all she is waiting for is when she is going to get that perfect job or the perfect opportunity that she is going to apply for. She does not like investing in herself, and she always operates from a scarcity or a victim mentality. When she looks at someone who is very privileged, who is doing very good in her life, she always feels that that person is like so lucky that they have it all. And it's nothing but thoughts like this that don't allow her to really experience and feel that there is something so big waiting for her on the other side. Whereas if you see Isha here, she's someone who loves the energy, who feels that all the things in this world is nothing but just energy. So she makes sure that whenever she is buying her groceries, whenever she is buying something for herself, she keeps it in that zone where she really values every penny that's being spent. She realizes that the money she's spending on grocery is bringing good health to her. She always makes sure that if she is giving someone money and she realizes that it's going to come back to her in many folds, she understands that it is so important to value her health, her well-being. And honestly, she is also this person who really never waits for the perfect opportunity. She wants to make sure that any opportunity that comes her way, she's going to do the best she can at her position to make the most out of that opportunity. So Laila here is someone who wants to start a YouTube channel, and she is doubting herself that she doesn't have the best equipment, nor she has a proper wardrobe, she doesn't know how to do makeup, and she doesn't have a proper camera to kind of start recording. So she's kind of waiting that her boss is going to give her a raise, then she's going to buy all the things, then she's going to take up a course on YouTube, and then only she's going to start. Whereas if you see Isha, she has been saving out from a salary every month, and she decided to take up that masterclass and make sure to at least get started. Over the period, she can keep on increasing and upgrading all the equipments and the knowledge that she needs to like make it a hit on YouTube, but she already got started. So honestly, this is the difference. This is the difference between the person who are you right now and the person you want to be. So I have been reading this amazing book by Joe Dispenza, and honestly, I love everything he writes, right? So he has been speaking about this thought and feeling loop, and it just makes so much sense. All the thoughts that we have, all the feelings that we have experienced in the past is nothing but a result of the environment we are in. All the things that come to us is nothing but just conditioning, right? So if we want to really be that elevated person, if we want to be in that 1%, if we want to be that super successful person in our field, in our energy, like, I don't know why I'm keeping on saying energy, but honestly, being that super elevated frequency person, even in our energetic field, or being the top 1% in any industry that you are in, you have to understand that it is not going to happen if you are the same person at the moment, right? You have to grow and evolve as we are going ahead in life. You have to understand that this is where you want to be. But to be there, this is the person you have to become. Because if you don't become that person, it is not possible for you to achieve all those things. Right? So if you just go back to the time when you were in school or in college and you just do like a flashback, you will understand that over the years how much you yourself have grown up in this journey, right? You have learned so many things. Like for me personally, I had so many traumas and so many things from my childhood that I really had to unlearn. And honestly, like I feel unlearning is a journey. I'm still going through it, right? So once you do that, you are going a step closer to the person you have to become. If you are stuck with all the unsolicited opinions of people who have not made it in their lives, you're not going to be there. It's nothing, but it's just going to add that extra layer of doubt. You might feel that perfectionism is an amazing habit, and I'm not saying that making sure any task you do, you want it to be perfect is a bad thing. It's a great thing. But when you just let that go all in over you, it stops you from doing anything. It stops you from taking the steps. It stops you from having that entire faith and confidence on yourself, right? And that's the most important thing. Your confidence is going to be the biggest fuel that keeps you going. So now I will be speaking about how you can change your inner dialogue and how you can really change the thought pattern and your wiring of the brain so that it helps you to be the elevated self that you really want to be. So the first thing is that whenever a person sees failure, there is always two options of how the person looks at it. The first thing is obviously like, why it's me? Why am I suffering? Why is my world falling down apart? So this is how Laila speaks here. But if you see how Isha deals with it, it is nothing but it is her way of looking towards it and thinking that what is this problem trying to teach me? What am I going to learn from it? What are the things that is in there that I can take within me and make myself better, right? So she's always looking at a problem as something that's going to leave her with a lot of lessons, right? And the next thing, which is also very important, is that everything that you have in your life, wherever you are at the point of time you are at, it is so important for you to operate from a place of gratitude. Grateful for every bit and every tit that you have in your life. It's so important. Because if you just don't do that, and if you are entirely relied upon that, if I have that, then only I will be grateful. Whatever I have, it doesn't make sense. Like after COVID, if you're alive, just imagine how big of a blessing it is. Like there are so many wars happening throughout the world and stuff like that, and you have a safe home, you have family, you have people who care for you. Like what else do you need? Like there are so many things to be grateful for. If you see it with a gratitude list and you kind of feel that I really don't know what I need to write after this, I really don't have words for you. You really have to rewire that. The next thing is, how do you look at people's privileges? This is also very important. I think I mentioned it before in the video as well. So if you see someone who comes from a very affluent place, from a very, very big family, or comes from legacy, don't just judge them because they have everything. Don't just look at them in the sense that, they are so privileged, I'm not. Just don't look that way. What you really have to do here is, you need to feel that, okay, that's wonderful. How can I do that? That's the mind you need. Like at the first thought, when you see someone that, okay, they won a Grammy, they won a Nobel Prize, they have this, they have that. And if you just go in there and reject that thought there, that they were privileged and that's why they did it, you're never going to make it happen, right? You have to kind of come to a place where you kind of think that, okay, I can do it as well if I want to. I just really need to know how they figured it out. You kind of go back to their social media, stalk them a little bit, know more about them, and kind of build it up from there. And that's how you go there, right? So that's the mindset that's going to take you there. And honestly, the reason for making this video is that you be an entrepreneur somewhere, you're breaking stereotypes as a woman, right? You're doing something very different. You are challenging the societal narrative of how things should be. You are bringing a change, right? So you really have to have the mindset of the entrepreneur who is at the pinnacle where you want to be. You can't operate from the same conditioning you have. Honestly, I feel that our energy is something which is, oh my god, which is so much of value. Like energy and time, any day over money, any day over any other thing, because money is also an energy in that say per se. So it's so important to value energy and time. What really happens is our parents, our friends, our circles. So I remember I read this book, 48 Laws of Power, and it was written to stay away from the unhealthy. And what they really meant was actually the group of friends and families who don't believe in you, the group of friends and families who doubt your vision. You should never, first of all, you should never say your dreams to people who can't visualize it. Like, if you want to really kill your dream, just go and say to them. That's the rule, right? So never do that. That's number one. Number two, what you do is always make sure that you don't let this negative people are like infections. You don't let them spread. You don't take their opinion. Just understand, someone who has never been an entrepreneur is never going to understand your struggle. Someone who has never envisioned, dreamt, or thought about something like this is possible is never going to understand your dream. Get that? Like, just understand, when you have a disease, you go to your doctor, right? So when you have a disease, you just don't go up to a random person. You go to someone who knows it, who understands it, who has studied about it, right? So same ways, when you go and speak about your dream, you speak it, like you talk about it and you talk it out with someone who really understands it, not just someone random. Please don't do that, okay? That is the worst thing that you can ever do. The next thing is, while we are in our phase when we are trying to reach our elevated self, and this is something I'm still struggling, I will say, but I'm better than what I was for sure, is that the notions that our family and our inner circle has about money, about abundance, is something that gets rubbed onto us. And that's very true. So you will see someone who is in a job, whenever their salary hits, it's kind of a dopamine for them, and they are kind of like, okay, I got my salary and I will be all in on my job. But when you look at yourself, it's very different, right? As an entrepreneur, you are on this grind where you're working every day, where you have time and location freedom after a point of time, like I do. So these things happen, but sometimes, you know, business is never like a linear thing, like a linear growth. I don't know why I did this, but it's a linear growth. But it's going to be like this. There are going to be turbulences. Now, if you operate from the employee mindset, if you operate from the victim mentality, if you operate from the conditioning that came from your parents, you're always going to question why this is happening with me. This is so unstable. I don't want it. Please understand that our brain always prefers things that are safe, right? It is just how the brain is designed. So anything that is out of your comfort zone, anything that is different, anything that is new and exciting and adventurous, your brain will never push you to do that, right? Your brain is going to prefer, I remember the sentence, I really want to say it right, and this is something I loved, very honestly, is that a brain will always prefer a familiar hell over a unpredictable future, or over a wonderful future which it can't perceive of, right? So the brain's entire idea is to keep us safe, right? So once you know that, you just make sure that whatever is cooking in here is not always right. You should never fall in that trap, right? So if you want to really start rewiring things, the other thing that you have to do, which is like the most important thing, is please start changing your inner dialogue. And I can't say you enough how important is it. I really had one session, okay? One inner healing session I did with a very nice meditator and visualization expert. When she was doing that to me, and when I was saying those affirmations that you are loved, and I was speaking to my inner child that she's valued, I have been in several narcissistic relationships while growing up with my family, and it has been really hard on me. It had a real toll on me. So when I was doing that, and when I was reassuring my inner child that she's safe, I can't see you, I was like teary. I just felt like my inner child is saying me, why didn't you say it for this long? I was so waiting for it. And that is when I realized that it is so important to make sure your inner dialogue is all right. If someone says you're a failure, you're not supposed to say yourself, I'm a failure. I'm a loser. I can't do this. Don't say those words. Because trust me, your inner child and your subconscious is believing anything you're saying. So don't do that. Don't harm yourself this way. People are already being critics and harming you. Just don't add to that. Don't add a filler to it. Please don't do that. Right? So that's number one. Honestly, I'm not counting numbers, but yes, that's a very important thing. The next thing that you do is always make sure that you don't let thoughts overpower you or feelings overpower you. Whenever you have a thought that's restricting you, try thinking that what is really causing that thought. So if you see that there are people who are going for scuba diving and you just feel it's too risky, just for a sec, just think that why do you feel it's risky? Is it like your mom said you should not be doing it? Is it like someone in the family passed away? Like what experience is triggering you that this is too much out of your comfort zone, you can't do it? So think of that first, and then make sure that the elevated self you want to be does not operate from this entire thoughts and feelings loop, right? Because the more you fall prey to this, the more it's going to kill you in the process. So don't let that happen. Next thing is, and this is also very important, is that successful people change things that normal people complain about, right? So if you want to be that successful person, you should not be the person sitting in the corner and complaining for things that is not going in your way, right? So always make this a to-do, that if you see people are complaining about something, always look out for a solution, because that is the mindset that you need, right? The next thing is, please practice visualization. It's very powerful. Your subconscious believes that that elevated self is there, and it also makes you entirely believe that it is doable, so no one just can come and like shake in that confidence. Affirmations are also very powerful. Gratitude lists are something you should do every day, right? And most importantly, be very careful about how you speak with yourself, right? And another thing that has really helped me, and I have to say this before ending today's video, is that whenever you're speaking to someone for a really long time, maybe over a call, you're meeting a friend, try collecting that conversation once you're back. If it's a phone, if they allow you to record, you can record it. And if you're just sitting with them in person, you can come back and recollect. So what happens during a conversation, if you complain about something, or if you speak about something multiple times, like more than 2 to 3 times, mostly it is nothing but it's just a pattern in your brain, and that needs to be rewired, right? So that is very important. So once you understood that narrative that you speak, like, I never look good with a red lipstick, stuff like that. So once you understand that, it is going to help you to kind of go down and make yourself feel, yes, I look good, I look hot, I can go out on this date, I can wear this dress, I can feel like this. So once you understand that these are the things that is affecting you, once you understand what's the core value of it, and then you can just start changing it. And this is how powerful it's going to be. Because trust me, just to be the person you want to be, it's not just going to be the strategies, it's going to be a lot more work with the person you have to become to get that, right? So I will look forward to meeting you guys in the next video. If you liked it, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the video and the channel. And thank you so much again for all the love and support that I have been getting from you guys. Thank you so much.